Home929 here, another Topic of the Week video. Christmas month continues with another Kingdom Hearts topic. This week's topic was submitted by Julie on the Discord, and her topic is, who is your favorite Kingdom Hearts character and why? Now, there are a lot of characters in Kingdom Hearts that you could choose as your favorite. Sora, Aqua, Terra, Ericus, Naminé, Donald and Goofy, Mickey, Yen Sid. That's not even getting into the Organization 13 members like Axel and Larxene. I mean, shoot, there are so many great characters in Kingdom Hearts. Like, how do you choose? Now, for me, personally, I would have to say that my favorite character is actually Roxas. Now, it is kind of weird, because Roxas, well, he is a protagonist in the series. He's not the first. And usually when you see characters who are like the first protagonists compared to later ones, they're usually more popular, like Solid Snake and Raiden. But I started thinking about this really as I got this topic, and I was thinking, well, I always really liked Roxas, but why? So as I was thinking about this, I was thinking that I'm pretty sure that the reason I got so attached to Roxas was the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, in the first two games, at least, chronologically speaking, which would be Kingdom Hearts 1 and then Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, the main protagonist is Sora. Kingdom Hearts 2 comes along, boom, all of a sudden, this guy named Roxas? He's in some town, and he's got buddies that he hangs out with, and it seems so weird at first, especially if you're going through all of the games like I was when I first got into the series. And I'm going in these in, for the most part, order. And I get to Kingdom Hearts 2, and there's this new guy. And at first, I didn't think much of Roxas. But once you go through the beginning part, and it's a couple of hours at least, depending on, how much, time you spend doing all the side activities and stuff, I started thinking, man, I actually do like this guy. And I think the reason why is the fact that they put you and Roxas in the same situation. Because in that time period, Roxas doesn't have his memories. He doesn't know everything that, well, he does know. He doesn't know his whole past, his history, etc. Which is why when a character like Axel comes up and he starts talking to him like he knows him, Roxas is like, huh? It's very effective in getting you to get attached to Roxas. And it really worked with me. Now, eventually, you do get answers for a lot of the stuff. You find out what happened to Roxas. You find out who he is, his history. You find out he was in Organization 13. You find out he was, he's a nobody. And then you find out how he ended up in the, the Data Twilight Town. So, you do eventually get answers. But it feels very organic because we know as much as Roxas knows. And this is why you see a lot of times when you have these kind of characters with amnesia and stories, because it actually is a pretty effective way of getting you to be in the same situation as the character. And it also allows for the story to give information to the audience in a way that feels more natural, because, hey, this character also needs to learn it, so let's just make it a natural part of the story. Now, and I brought up, Solid Snake and Raiden, and it's funny because I've actually said this as, like, the inverse of that situation. For people who may not be big on Metal Gear Solid, Solid Snake is the famed original protagonist of the Metal Gear Solid series. Everyone loves Solid Snake. So when you had Metal Gear Solid 2 coming out, the long-awaited sequel to Metal Gear Solid 1, it hypes up Solid Snake, and then you start the game playing as Solid Snake, and then after the first, chunk of the game, Solid Snake is gone, and you're playing as this new guy called Raiden. And you play as him for the rest of the game. a lot of people weren't happy with this, which is unfortunately one of the main reasons why Raiden was so hated. Not because Raiden was inherently a bad character. In fact, I found he was one of the few things that I actually liked about Metal Gear Solid 2. But it was more of the fact that because of Kojima's bait and switch, which was just to pull a fast one on his audience, because he's Kojima, this caused a lot of people's anger to be misplaced at Raiden. He became a replacement Scrappy. Not because he was bad, but because, he replaced Solid Snake, and people love Solid Snake. However, with Kingdom Hearts 2, what they do here is they start you off with the new character. And after that main beginning part is done, after you play the first couple of hours, a lot of the tutorial stuff, you're getting a hang of the new controls and stuff, then it switches over to Sora. And you get to see Roxas's journey of learning about stuff, and him meeting Naminé, and him having that connection to Naminé. And you get to start learning a little bit, and he realizes that he has to go to Sora and return to Sora because he's Sora's nobody. And after you spend that time getting attached to this guy who is just an absolute victim in the story, and as you learn more context, especially once you play Days, you feel so sorry for Roxas because of all the crap that he went through. And then he goes in there and he actually accepts his fate, that in order for things to be right, he has to effectively give up his being and become a part of Sora again. He doesn't disappear, as the game later shows, that he's still there in Sora, and eventually he comes out, and by the time you get to Kingdom Hearts 3, he gets his own body again. But you really do get attached to Roxas, and I do think that that's actually something that really, that's something I really liked about Roxas, is the way he was set up. And I'm not going to lie, I immediately, once I started getting into this, I liked him more than Sora. Not that Sora isn't a great character. I mean, he is the main protagonist. He's important and he's great and all. But I just liked Roxas, especially with his attitude, because it's so funny. Because even though he's a part of Sora, he's got more of an attitude than Sora, because Sora is just this pure good soul, and then you've got Roxas, who gets pissed off and angry. Now, once you play Days, you understand why he gets so pissed off, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But, it is funny because he's still a good guy, of course, but he's so different from Sora, and it's funny seeing that. I like that. I like seeing that attitude with him. But it was really playing Days that I think that really gives you the full context of his character. Now, I would highly recommend playing Kingdom Hearts 2 before playing Days, simply because I feel like that makes that beginning part so much more effective. Because if you play Days, you see everything that happens from when Roxas is created to Kingdom Hearts 2. So that really robs the opening of the mystique and the confusion that really does put you in the same foot as Roxas, because you then evoke huge dramatic irony. You know what happened. You know what Roxas doesn't know. And I think it makes that opening far less effective. But I do think it's important to play, and I would say play it, I would play it after Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, once you go through that, then you go back and you start learning more about Roxas, and you get more context for what was going on. And, shoot. Like, we know that we see that he left the organization in Kingdom Hearts 2, but, holy crap, actually seeing the context for why he left the organization, once you play Days, you feel so sorry for him. Like, a lot of these characters ended up in crappy situations, especially the Wayfinder trio, because Birth by Sleep is the tragic backstory, and all of them end up with crappy situations by the end of that game. But with Roxas, you see he's created. Then he's drafted into Organization 13 to work with other nobodies. And he's doing stuff. He doesn't have really much of a mind of his own. He's just kind of doing whatever he's told, and as he's going through, he starts creating these friendships, and then you realize he gets lied to over and over and over and manipulated over and over and over. He's even lied to by Axel, his supposed best friend. Like, I mean, granted, it's not like he was doing this maliciously. I mean, there's a lot of complicated stuff going on, but still, he was lied to. He was used. He was manipulated. And especially once you get to the stuff with Xion, and it's like, oh yeah, here's effectively another part of you, another part of Sora that we're basically just going to sacrifice you for this. Like, oh, joy. I mean, shoot. Is it any wonder Roxas was so pissed off when he left? Actually playing that, once you understand the context of that scene we had originally seen before of him leaving and Axel, and him talking to Axel, it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Screw Organization 13. Yeah, wow. But even despite all of this, Roxas was still a solid person. I mean, granted, he's part of Sora. So even if he does have that attitude, he's still a good person. And he was still willing to make that sacrifice to give up, being an individual person to return to Sora, because without that, really, they couldn't save the world and, the multiverse of all the different, worlds and everything. Because, Sora is the hero. He's the one who has to save the day, and which he eventually does do after, 20 years after the series started. Or 17 specifically. But it's just I honestly do think Roxas is my favorite character. I got so attached to him. And he was so expertly set up. And I honestly, part of me would have loved to have played Kingdom Hearts 2 back when it first released. Because, of course, I played the Kingdom Hearts series. I only actually got into playing them in the last couple of years. So I would have loved to actually play this back when it first came out, and then having to play as Roxas with no other context, because I knew Roxas existed before I played the games. I just didn't know all the details of the story. And I was still confused at the beginning. But, man, I would have loved to have played that being like, what? Yeah, it's really interesting to see how Kingdom Hearts 2, or Kingdom Hearts overall, set up the story with so many different protagonists. Because you play so many different characters across the series. Because you've got Sora, you've got Roxas, you've got Xion in Days, you've also got Riku in a couple of games, Aqua, Terra, Ventus, and I mean, out of all of them, I like all of them. Some of them I like more than others. I mean, I really adore Aqua. But in terms of my actual favorite character, it's definitely Roxas, which is not something I expected going in. I mean, granted, I didn't really know too much about all of the characters, other than a few basic stuff. I knew Birth by Sleep before I ever played it. Was the depressing, tragic backstory, and that all of them would end up in horrid situations. I just didn't know the details of it. But yeah, I think it's a combination of the way that the game set up Roxas as a character and the introduction that really gets you attached to him, really making him sympathetic. Because I'm sympathetic towards the the Wayfinder trio for the crap they went through, especially when Terra has his body taken over by the main villain. But with the situation that Roxas was stuck in, how you see him constantly manipulated over and over. Then he gets this brief period of happiness with friends. But then you find out that those friends are just imitations. They're not the real Hayner, Pence, and Olette. They're just recreations of them. Which again comes up later in the series when you have Sora interacting with Hayner, Pence, and Olette. And, they talk about, Roxas. And honestly, it was really great how, especially, they just accepted, oh, so this guy Roxas was friends with our alternate data selves? Well, that's good enough for us. He's our friend. I love Kingdom Hearts. But, yeah. Roxas is great. Best boy. So yeah, I think that's enough for this topic. It's just a fun little topic to talk about one of my favorite characters in Kingdom Hearts. So if you want to submit a topic to me, you can comment below if you're on YouTube. If you're on Tumblr, send me an ask. Put topic : whatever topic you want me to talk about. Or if you're on the Discord, you can just go into the topic submissions channel and submit a topic there. Just make sure to follow the rules I'll be posting down below. If you want to watch last week's topic video, you can check that out here. If you want to watch next week's topic video, you can check that out here when I get that done. So who is your favorite character in Kingdom Hearts? Please comment below. And thank you for watching.